Welcome to the MBD Podcast, the show where we dig into what's actually working or not when it comes to scaling businesses with the people who've been there. Today's guest is helping people scale their businesses in ways that they may not even have thought were possible. So I want to let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Hi there, Jason. I'm Bradford Carlton. I'm a business coach, former attorney. I'm now an AI automation expert somehow, even though I've just been making content on YouTube and everybody's coming to me now for it. So it's an interesting world we live in.
Yeah, and that's how I found you. You were making content on YouTube. You weren't making content, you were solving problems.
That's a good way of putting it, yes. So really, I was solving my own problems. And my wife said, you're not allowed to just solve it for us anymore. Go solve it for other people. So okay, fine. So I started putting out everything that I was making for myself, just making videos about it and putting them out there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's actually helped us a lot. And, in doing all these different areas of opportunities for business, what are things that you see when you go into a business as a business consultant, there's a new term, chief AI officer, which you're finding areas of opportunity that you can help them fix?
It's so funny because I think business consulting is business consulting is business consulting. And it's almost always the same advice, no matter what kind of business you're going into. And I found that it's translated over absolutely perfectly into the AI space because it's processes. Do you have a process? Do you know what your process is? Because people come to me, oh, can you automate this thing for me? And they lay it out, they explain what they want. And I say, okay, well, we'll have a discovery session. I'll sit down. You're going to tell me your process, where you get your inputs, how you need it mixed up in the certain way you need it mixed up. And then where do you need it? And they look at me and they're like, well, I got to tell you all that? Yeah, how else am I supposed to know?
You got to guess. Have you done this for another business where you could just use the same thing?
Wait, I actually have to have SOPs? Yeah, you have to have XOPs.
It's pretty amazing. So, and getting started in that, what is one of the areas or barriers that take a while to get to the point where you can actually build out the process?
Ooh, that's probably the starting point, is just knowing how you get your data. Because we're transitioning from the world where it's humans doing the work to computers doing all of the work. We kind of had a little mini area where computers did some of the work, but not all of it. And but we're getting to that point where computers should do it all. And so how do I get the data in? It's either through some API call from somewhere or scanning a document, but how do we get the human out of it? Which is a whole other can of worms because people are freaking out about that too. And so I have a lot of businesses, you got to get over the hump of, if you don't have AI in your business, the next guy over is going to. And what happens when his business takes off because he's working 5-10 times more efficiently than you? It's just an interesting world we're living in now.
Yeah, and getting that data. So have you found ways, because I have an idea of potentially how to get the process of something through Power Automate, Microsoft tool. Have you used that one? So where you can so you can record what you're doing and it'll follow all the actions through it. Do you have ways or techniques? Because say you're working with, maybe I'm just going to receptionist route. You're working with the receptionist and like, oh, I kind of do this and that. And, maybe they're not the greatest of outlining in detail processes and SOPs. Is there a way that you found to help acquire that information so that way you can make the processes for it?
Oh, yeah, all that institutional knowledge, you mean, how to get it and turn it into. So I do it pretty much the same as I did it before AI. I'll sit down, I'll record them either on camera or just listening to them and record their audio. And then nowadays I just process it through an AI. So I have an AI bot that I've built that has something like 17 different items that it runs the entire transcript through, each of those 17, and it identifies what it is they work on, where it doesn't need to go, what are the edge cases they have to worry about, what parties need to be involved, that sort of thing. And we just have to talk more, I think. Too many people think if they can just hold on to their job tight enough, then they get to keep it. Yeah. But, as business owners, we got to get that out of our employees. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to automate it. And it can, we don't have to necessarily automate their job away, but make them more efficient.
You said something that would be interesting as a product solution, to where if you could provide, you have someone as they're working, they essentially are talking what they're doing. And then it would capture all that information and create the processes for them to where they don't need to type it. They just work throughout their normal day. They have an audio recording going on, and then you could capture that, process it. And now you got an SOP.
You have an SOP of what they do, though. And
Okay, true.
through my years of consulting, I have found, because I have sat down next to employees and I said, okay, go through your day. I have found that what they do is not necessarily always the right thing to do.
Good point.
So there's a little bit of what we're still here for, us as consultants. We have to be able to identify, is that really the right way to do this? Could you have done it this whole other way?
That's a good point, because as the consultant, you're looking for those areas of opportunity. I was thinking very static in that, you have someone who essentially does the same repetitive task every day. Call comes in, I answer the phone, I talk to the person, they're a lead, they're from insurance, they're from here, I need to route that call, I then go here, I log the new lead, I put it in the system. I was thinking that, but yeah, you're right, because if they're not doing it correctly, and the business owner may be thinking that, oh yeah, my team, they're firing on all cylinders, go out, just map out what they're doing, and you got it, and then you go, hey, are they supposed to be doing this? I mean, even when I go in as a company, it's like, hey, I think they're not doing everything they're supposed to be doing. And then now you open up a whole new can of worms, because like you've uncovered all this area of opportunity or lost productivity that you get to work on. So you get in there, you sit with them, you find a way to map out what they're doing. You get the advice for, okay, here's the areas of opportunity that I'm seeing. This is what they're doing. Maybe they're doing it wrong. Maybe they're doing it right. You get through those portions of it. Now you have the logging of data. Let's say they haven't logged data. Is there a way that you're able to get enough information to create something that's intelligent enough to take over the task without having enough information for these processes?
If I don't have all the information, there's no way. I have to know exactly what information is coming in, exactly every single column in the spreadsheet that they're dealing with. I need to know exactly where it goes. If not, then you only have half a process. And does half a process work for you? Maybe, but I mean,
half the employee is
right. Well, maybe. I mean, if it does half of their job and then they do the other half, okay. But if you're going to miss vital information because you just forgot that whole column from the spreadsheet, oh, I didn't realize I needed to include that. Well, how is that going to make you look bad in the eyes of the consumer? Or is it going to look bad in the eyes of your supervisor? However your company is structured. You need it all.
Okay, so you found a way, you've got all the information that you need, and then you start working on the processes or the solutions. Do you find any kind of common solutions across businesses that they're able to get a hold of? I know it depends, but is there anything you kind of see more than average?
You jumped me, you got ahead, because I used to be an attorney, so it depends is like the go-to answer. The answer is no. Every single client that I've had here in the AI space, it's been absolutely different. Even if they're processing information, the type of information they process is different. The way they have it structured, the flow they want it to go through is all different. And God forbid I suggest they do something different. No, this is how we do it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny you say that. Because I wanted essentially I was thinking oh yeah, easy, low hanging fruit. Let's put a chatbot on the site. Let's use let's use a voice agent to help with receptionists.
Yeah.
I've got those bots. To see.
If you want to use my bot, sure, I can install it, but no one wants to use just that bot. They want their bells and whistles and extra stuff. And
yeah, I know. I've seen a lot of these where they some will have videos on them. Some will just have an image. Some will, a lot of different variations. Okay, so you've got your processes, you got your solutions that you can provide for the end user. How are you acquiring new users for your business? What are avenues that you use on the marketing side to generate new acquisition?
So I've been a content creator for about 5 years now, coming up on 6 years. And my first brand, I built on Facebook. I gained something like 150,000 followers in my first year. Okay. And so then my next brand, took me like 6 months, but I was getting 500,000 views a month on all the different platforms. So this one I've only been doing for 3 months or so, and I get offered money every day. So all inbound. I don't have to do any outbound marketing. I just provide enough value and it comes back.
Yeah. And I noticed that the content that you're creating, you're actually showing the solutions. It's not hey, here's what I do. This is how it works. I'm going to show you a little bit of the flow, and then you need to reach out to me to find out more information. You're essentially providing the downloads for these solutions.
Absolutely.
And which is great, right? And then you're also providing feedback. You're very engaged on the platform as far as responding to messages. And I think that's huge because people who are trying to learn it a lot of times, they're trying to find that solution, hoping it'll be easy to do. And then they realize, like I always do, I'm like, man, I just spent 10 hours trying to figure out how to get this chatbot to capture information in these cells and not overwrite each other when it's blank.
That's
And then
right.
you're like, I may as well just outsource it because it's going to be cheaper for me to outsource than the opportunity cost lost trying to figure it out.
Well, can I jump in really quick and
Yeah.
say, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, I had no idea how to do any of this. None whatsoever. I tried to figure out how to code because Gemini, I think it was 1.5 Flash had just come out and they're offering it for free. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh heck yeah, I'll go use one of those like auto coder things, and that was just an unmitigated disaster. I couldn't get anything to work, and so I'm sitting there like I've already spent like 2 weeks. I got to try something, right?
Yeah.
So and that's when I found N8N, which is a visual builder. And I can put hieroglyphs next to each other. That's easy enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I took a logic class with my daughter. She's 8 years old. We homeschool her. It's just logic. Okay.
Yeah.
Ifs and ors and buts and whatevers. And so I got lucky enough to sprain my ankle. And I was stuck in bed with my computer for 2 months, and I learned N8N. So here I am building all these bots to replace myself because I'm stuck in bed. And everybody's like, oh, you built such great things. I'm like, okay, that's all cool, but like I haven't been at this that long. Anybody can do it.
Right. I know. Something kind of similar to me is that a year ago, I was like, oh, I can use all this stuff to program marketing. So I'm like, let me just have it build out schema for all these pages. I mean, hey, do this schema. Here's best practice. It was jumble. It never worked when I put it into the rich text editor. Then a couple months ago, I was talking to someone like, hey, have you heard of N8N? And I was like, no. He's like, take a look, see if you can get on that. Next thing you know, it's like Connects or Legos. I'm just building.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah, I'm just building stuff and it's fun. And then I go back to ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, write this schema. And all of a sudden it's writing a schema that works. So I'm like telling it like, hey, here's the format. Here's how we do it. Here's our method. And it's spitting it out and it's all correct. So it's like the struggle, like you're talking about those original struggles were kind of towards the end of that in a sense, even though we still have some hiccups, but like get to the point where you could really build some stuff on your own.
Yeah. And there's so many templates online. There's people like me, tons of guys like me on YouTube putting out content. Your thing you need for your business is probably already out there.
Awesome. So you've got all inbound. You don't have to do any outreach. And then as far as if you were to suggest to someone, let's say that someone, they're like, man, I want to grow my business, whatever it may be. How do you structure your content creation? Do you have a calendar? Do you have specific things? Do you look up what people are asking? Are you scraping Reddit and saying, oh, I see this question a lot. Let me provide a solution for that.
Sometimes every now and then someone will leave a comment on YouTube going, hey, can you make this? I'm like, oh, that seems easy enough. I can do that. By and large, though, it's what do I need to grow my business? How can I further process my coaching clients? How can I further process my marketing efforts on LinkedIn or whatever? And so my wife is my business partner. She's the ops manager for the business. And so it basically comes down to her going, hey, I'm working too hard, Brad, make me an automation for this. I'm like, okay. So that's how I make them.
They're real life solutions and they take over right away, which is great because that's what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I do this too much. Let me spend a ton of time. I'd be the person where you had a TV and I don't want to get up anymore. So then I want to figure out and spend 2 years building a remote control so I don't have to get up out of the couch. But then I find I can never be lazy because I'm always trying to find and build out that next solution.
That's the thing. I've built all of these automations in order to save us time. And we're probably working harder now because we're getting so much more done.
Right. I know it's like a multiplier effect.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So if someone's listening who's trying to scale right now, what's one piece of advice you wish you had earlier?
Invest in Bitcoin.
Right.
But other than that, scale our business, focus on giving value. I think when I first started, like in my law practice and then my first coaching, iteration of my coaching business years and years ago, I thought it was about me. I always thought it was, me and how great I am and what I provide. But it's all about results. That's anybody. Yeah. That's the only thing anybody cares about is the result they're going to get. And if you're not promoting that, if you're not marketing that, if your business is not focused around getting your clients results, then you don't have a real business.
Yeah. And I've with a lot of attorneys I've worked with, it's always about me. I'll listen to their calls. They'll be on the phone. Me, I've done this, and they don't let the client talk. And I'm just like, you guys, this is why they don't want to work with you. This is why your close rate's so bad. Like you're not listening. You need to be, it's 70-30, I think is the ideal or even up to 80/20, client talk, you talk, and providing that value. And their websites are all, I got this, I got that. No, we'll provide you with peace of mind. We'll
That's right.
help you through every step of the way. Not we take on everything for you. Uh, yeah, great information. And Bitcoin, yeah. And I was working at MySpace. My manager, he came in, he had Bitcoins. He had 5 of them at the time. It was back in like
Uh-huh.
2010. And he goes, yeah, these will probably be worth something someday. And at the time, they were like a couple dollars. And he's like, I was going to get you guys some, but I'll get to it. And then I was like, I came from a finance background. I'm like, this stuff isn't going to be worth anything. It's just
Right.
toys. Oh man, I missed out.
My grandmother had passed away and left us a bunch of money. And so I'm sitting there like Bitcoin is at $4. And I'm like to my wife, hey, we should invest in this, even if we only grab like 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
She's like, no, it's just digital. It's not worth anything. Every day she's like, I should have let you invest in Bitcoin.
Oh man, you're so close. So close, right? So close.
Yeah.
Awesome. So where can people connect with you or learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, you can find me on my website, bradfordcarlton.com. My consulting firm is mayfloweradvising.com. All the automations I give away are on School. The community page is called Automate Business AI. Just search for Bradford Carlton and you are sure to find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely. Anytime, Jason.